Welcome to the greatest sports show in the world. Good week, everybody. I gotta be quiet, a little subdued. My kids right across the hall sleeping. We're doing it a little later than normal, so that's why it wasn't as loud. But I still hope everyone had a good week. I had a great week. I want to say hello to my co-host here. We got Jess. Jess, what's going on?
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
It's going great. We got Nikki Boston. Nikki Boston, what's going on?
Good, bud. How's it hanging?
It's going, hanging great. And last but not least, we got Ficus Kev over here. Ficus looking in full bloom in the back. Ficus Kev, what's going on, my man?
You three are my favorite Valentines. That's all I got to say.
Oh,
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day to all the lonely souls that are watching us right now live.
Yeah, that's sad.
yeah.
Glad you joined us. Hey, I took care of Valentine's earlier. Just, went out. My little kid actually wanted to go on a Valentine's date with my wife,
Oh,
and he allowed me to go. And so we went bowling after school, but not regular bowling. In Canada, they have 5-pin bowling. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's 5 pins, and you use a little ball like this big.
Yeah, they got that. They got it in New England. It's a New England thing too.
Yeah, you get three tries to knock down all the balls, and it's just it's different. So
and the balls are like they're like this. They look like a little bit bigger than bocce balls. They're not like, the big bowling balls.
Yeah, it's like when you get hit. When you get hit in the cup, it explodes.
I was just gonna say
it looked like my nut.
Anyway,
hey now.
Anyway, I want to say
sounds like a romantic little date.
Yeah, it was fun. And then we ate at the mall, and I had to order a new laptop, so I had to go get a new case for it. So yeah, nice little Valentine's Day with a 5-year-old, and now I'm podcasting with all of you guys. So
it's quite the romantic evening.
Yeah, that's just how we roll. So I want, before we go too far into this, we got to mention our sponsor as always, HockeyWolf.com. Ow, 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 ow. Hockey Wolf, beer leaguers just like you and me, trying to make the game more affordable. Trav's a great guy. Everyone over at Hockey Wolf are great people. So if you need some hockey gear or even some lacrosse gear, if we're going to play a little lax, or you need some team gear like some warm-up suits or whatever else you need to play hockey, tape is a good one. You can go over to Hockey Wolf and check them out. They support the hell out of us, so we support the hell out of them. Go check them out, HockeyWolf.com. Ow, 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 ow. All right, and you can also find us on every social media channel, the BLPA. So go check us out. I want to say hello to everyone that's watching us. They're sending comments over there. So Larson A30 over on Twitch. What's going on, my friend? Man, we haven't been on Twitch in so long. I remember when I used to, during the pandemic, we started Twitch just so we could stream video games, so we could say we were still playing hockey. We were playing Shell, and we were horrible at it, but it was crazy the amount of people that would watch us just play video games. Still blows my mind to this day. But I will say it doesn't blow my mind as much as the one time where I said, hey, everybody, let's watch some puck. And I literally just put my camera facing on my deck, looking at a puck, just standing there. And we streamed it for 8 hours. And at one point we had 10,000 people just watching this puck.
What?
Nothing. It did nothing. It literally said, one time I said a beer bite. I gave the puck a beer, and I said it, and people were just, yeah, it was insane. But when you're in the start of a pandemic and you don't know what's going on, you can't go anywhere. Everyone was like, oh, I got to shelter in place. And they were just like, well, I guess we're going to watch this puck on Facebook. And it was
See
insane.
if it does anything.
Yeah, it didn't do it. It didn't. It got a beer one time. I think I put some like BLPA merch out by it one time. And one time I took a drink of that beer. But it was just the puck, just hanging out.
Toilet paper at some point?
Yeah, I mean, you just let it go. So
one sheet. You had to
one square, single
one
ply.
square.
Yeah, you don't want to. Well, you couldn't waste toilet paper at that time, right? Because everything was sold out. And,
it was very important. Yeah,
I gave it no hand sanitizer, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, lots of exciting things going on. We just got back from Savannah, Georgia, and had an electric weekend. It was insane. Like, I'm saying electric sarcastically, but I'm not being sarcastic. Like, it was an absolute gong show. And, I mean, basically. First off, we did the draft in a haunted basement because there's a lot of ghosts in Savannah. I don't know if you know that. It's one of the most haunted places in the world.
Yeah.
We were at Moon River Brewing, and it used to be a children's hospital back in the like Civil War days or something. And so we were there, and we were in the basement, and apparently there's a friendly ghost named Toby that haunts it, and he didn't bother me because I ain't afraid of him. And so, big dog coming in. We squeezed in there. We had 80 players for our first time decks, which is insane.
That's a lot.
And 68 of them first time BLPA players. It was absolutely nuts. Like it was so crazy. 68.
68. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like I told him, I said, hey, listen, here's the deal. One, I like having this many people that are new because you don't know my jokes, so I'm going to seem hilarious. And two, we usually have 20% new people at our draft experiences. And so if you have 80 people, then normally you'd have 20 people is 25. So that's 25%. Yeah. But we had like 80%, 89% actually, something like that. It was wild. And we had a great
reverse.
Time. The rink there, we played at the practice facility. So what they did is they just rented out like an old civic center. It was called Martin Luther King Arena. And they just put an ice rink right in the middle of it. So it was like we literally played in an empty arena. Like there were seats all the way to the roof. Like it was pretty cool time. And believe it or not, the ice was pretty good for just a temporary structure. But because they don't have the humidity and stuff figured out yet, there was a lot of fog. So that was kind of cool. Like we kind of cool in the old days.
Was the ice soft, Nikki? Was it
no?
Hot or was it soft?
No, it was more on the hard side of ice, but I will say, and I'm not trying to put down any other rink, but like Carolina has its own facility, South Carolina, Charleston. Yeah. I found the ice to be better than Charleston, to be honest with you. Wow. And so that was kind of one of those things. Like but it was a good time. I mean, it was a good time, and I mean, we introduced a lot of new people to the BLPA, so I got to shout them out here. Every team that I said at the end, if you listen to the podcast, and I would say that you were my favorite team of the weekend. You were my favorite team of the weekend. Thank you for joining us. Just your team, whatever jersey you were wearing, my favorite team. So it was great.
It's very specific, Nick.
Yeah, I'm just letting people know.
Good shout out, buddy.
Now was the ice rink haunted at all, or is it just the brewery you went to?
I don't know. I didn't read any stories of the ice rink being haunted.
Yeah, they got a ton of stuff there. Just because of the Civil War. I mean, like when we go down there and stuff to play, that place is nuts. I mean, everything you do is ghost. It's like their whole tourist thing. I mean, yeah, they had foundations. It was a big place for slavery, that type of stuff. So they have a lot of haunted and a lot of history, there. So anything that they can bring that around, it's, you can still drive by and see plantations and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest with you, I haunted Kyle's team, Team Booberry. They couldn't beat us. They tried twice, couldn't do it. So on our way to silver medal, we played them on Sunday, both games, because that's just the way the standings worked out. They couldn't beat us. So I see Booberry represent. I don't know who it is. It just has Facebook user.
Yeah.
But just let you know, we haunted them pretty much all of Sunday. They just couldn't get past us. But it was a good time. And here's the only kicker: we have a rating scale 1 to 10. 10 being obviously Sidney Crosby.
And
but
Sidney Crosby / Jess. Yeah.
Right.
How do you like?
We're
how
both
do you,
girls.
Nikki, how do you?
We're both girls.
I want to ask. How do you grade them? Like, how do you know?
They rate themselves.
Who's a 10 or who's a 1?
Yeah, they rate themselves. 1. We have like a rating skill, and it's got a little blurb under each one, and we usually go between 4 and 6. We have some 7s that come in, rarely any 8s, but in this time. Like 38 out of 50 were 7, 8, 9s. And so, it was they weren't. That's just what they rated themselves. Like it was an average. That's not throwing a shot. It's just hard to rate yourself on your first time, right? And so, it turned out to be just an average Dex tournament skill level, but everyone had fun. No dicks to speak of. I mean, it was just everyone having fun, playing hockey, drinking beer, and literally they were like, I was like, "Can we bring beer in here?" And they're like. And I was like, does that mean yes? And they were saying, well, we're not saying no. So we're like, all right. So we were just up in the stands, just pounding brewhas and all that stuff. So, and listen, I'm already getting called out in the stands or in the chat. Yeah, you took me to a shootout. Yeah, you did. And you lost. That's how it works. Like, so you didn't win.
Lost to loss, win to win.
Yeah. So it's not like I said that, we blew you out every time. I said, no, we haunted you. You couldn't get past us. That's all. And that's fair.
They
It was a
don't
good
ask
game.
how, Nikki. They ask how many.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. The thing about the thing is, you in championship games, you want to have every game be a tie. Like that means that I did a great job on the draft, right? We didn't have every game as a tie, but it was fun, and you know, I always like playing those close games because it sucks when it's like 8-1 and no one wants to skate anymore, especially on your 5th game of the weekend. You're like, why am I even doing this to myself? So the ghost theme was fire. I don't know if you saw those jerseys, but all fire jerseys. There's not one bad jersey, not one jersey in this bunch where I said, I'd rather not have that one. I was cool with anything. I ended up being on, what team was I on? Purple, King Boo. I was on the King Boo team. So that was basically how my weekend went. We did a lot of drinking. I mean, there's so many bars down there. Like basically you can take your beers wherever you want down there. You can just walk outside and start pounding them. It's like Vegas, but in Georgia.
And it's like just the historic like downtown area right on the riverfront that is allowed.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, lots of seafood, lots of fun times. So if you missed it, you're an idiot. Jess, that's basically a shot at you.
I know.
Tell us a little bit about your beer league. Yeah, they were. Tell us about what happened. You were in Canada.
Yeah, I was up in good old Canada. Yeah, we were up in Brampton, so outside of Toronto, and I've never played hockey up in Canada before. I mean, I'm an adult that learned to play hockey, so I've always wanted to play hockey in Canada, I mean like for, you know, the last like 10 years of my life. But yeah, we played this company, and this might be like a competitor, Nick, so like please don't kill me. The Weekend.
Yeah, let's not talk about them.
So whatever, it was their tournament, so they had like
no free promo.
Right. They had men's teams and they had a women's division. So we played in the women's division, played against 3 other really great teams. They were a lot of fun, very respectful. We ended up going to the championship on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. And played against a team that beat us on Friday night. And I'm just terrible with team names. I can't even remember who we played. But we went into overtime. We got to play in like their little, where were we? The CAA Center, which I guess is like AAA, but for Canada. We played it there, and they've got like 4 sheets. At least I only saw 4 sheets. And we played in like their like little like arena on Sunday. And so we went to overtime. Our best player had got a penalty, I think with like a minute left of the game. And then we went to do 3-on-3 in overtime. So it went 4-on-3. So she popped out of the box, got an outlet pass, cruised down the ice, cut across the goalie, went backhand on her and won the game. And we don't, like the Lady Canes, we don't win a lot of championships, especially our C League team. Like we're always the winners at drinking and having fun. So we were stoked. I don't think we've actually won an official tournament. In like
I saw Renee's Snapchat stories all weekend, and you guys were just getting just shitty drunk at a arcade.
Yeah, that was on Saturday night. Yeah, Friday night we stayed up until 3:30, drinking in the hotel. We do this thing during the tournaments where we make a pyramid with all of our cans, and we drink just in the hotel. So we did pretty good for a few hours. I don't have a picture to like pull up and show you here.
Well, then it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. And yeah, Saturday night we went this place like in the parking lot of the hotel called the Palladium, and it's kind of like a Dave and Buster's.
Oh, okay. I thought this was going in a way better direction. Okay.
Yeah. Well, there was kids there, so.
Gotcha. I guess you got to go to Montreal for those kind of stories, which we will go to. Montreal's got some fire strip clubs, by the way. All right. Well, congratulations on your win. And not to take.
Yeah, congrats, Jess.
Thanks. We're so excited.
Not taking anything away from Lady Canes, but I also want to shout out to Lolo, who's in the chat, and say congratulations on becoming a Florida State champion. So she was the women's Florida State champion. They played this weekend. That's why she couldn't come to Savannah, but her and Sue. I'm sure Sue might be listening right now, but I don't know. Usually she listens in bed with Bill, and so I want to say shout out Bill.
Yeah.
If you're there, hopefully this is getting her in the mood, Bill. But nonetheless, we're supposed to have a pretty good guest on today, but crazy story. right? Nikki, we're supposed to have Oyabo on. What happened to Yabo?
Yeah, Yabo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I messaged Yabo, hey, Yabo, we're ready for Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. And the animal sent me a picture of him in that. I sent it to you. Sent me a picture of him in the hospital bed. He tore his bicep. He does a lot. He helps out with special forces, and he does a lot of stuff with training those guys on hand-to-hand combat, which is really cool. So I think it was during that time, during a training session, he actually tore his bicep. So shout out to Yabo. I hope I'll talk to him tomorrow night. I do a call every first and third Wednesday of the month with a bunch of ex-NHLers and stuff. And it's just more of like a support group of guys that, played and, what we're going to do after and trying to help guys kind of transition. And he's part of that group as well, too. So, I'll talk to him tomorrow, but he's a great guy, and I hope he feels better and gets better. But we'll definitely have him on. He was excited to come on, but unfortunately, he even said he might even think about doing it from the hospital bed, but he couldn't just get it.
Oh, that'd have been wild.
That would have been epic.
He couldn't do it. His better half wouldn't let him. So it's I wish him all the best, and I'll talk to him tomorrow, but we'll get him on pretty soon.
Awesome. Hey, I gotta just hop out. I gotta go take care of one thing. Basically, I gotta poop is what I'm trying to say. So Kev, do your NHL stuff. I'll be right back.
Is it like, are you sweating?
No, I'm not sweating. I'm just here, but I do gotta poop.
You're not at that point yet where you're gonna sweat. I'm not at that point yet. Then you should stay on. When you start sweating, then that's where the.
Well, I mean, listen, I don't. Here's the problem.
I'm just kidding.
I don't want to poop my pants live, right? If we're just doing it like a regular recording, I just let it rip probably. But I'm just gonna go. So for Bedard, right? Or what are we calling it? Bombing for Bedard. Hit it.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna talk about Nick, right? Like that.
It's gonna be like absolutely.
Wow. A Valentine's Day in the middle of a show. He's not sweating.
No.
He's not like slurring his words. And he pulls.
He wasn't even doing one of these, Like
he wasn't you gotta get to the point where you're like holding your head and you're sweating. You know what I mean? And you got to kind of sit up a little bit. You're shifting.
Yeah. Funny story is
the towel.
In our hotel parking lot after we went to the Palladium, which was a kid appropriate place. There's an Indian food place right next door, vegetarian, right? It is completely packed with Indian people. We're like, this place has got to be good. So we go at like 10:30 at 11 o'clock. We go in and we're like,
at night?
Yes, at night.
Oh.
And we're like, we looked at the menu and we're like, we're kind of familiar with a few of these things. And the waiter comes and he's like, do you guys know what you want? And I'm like, I'm going to be honest. We're sitting here Googling things. So we're going to need your help. And he's like, okay. And we have one girl at our table. She's like, I cannot do spicy at all. She's like, I can't even like look at spicy. Like, I just can't handle it. And he's like, oh, none of this is okay. They're going to get this, none of it's spicy. Of course, it comes to the table and Nick says he's still watching. Yeah, welcome.
I saw that. Nick's still watching. So. While he's shitting, he's watching us.
So, yeah. So, we were like giving her giving you whatever. They don't serve alcohol. So we were like, do you have any kind of like milk drinks? We were giving her like this like yogurt drink or whatever. But my stomach does not I used to live in the Southwest. And so when I lived there, ate spicy food all the time. My stomach was fine. Now I don't eat it a lot because I live in North Carolina. And if anything, it's like I eat barbecue all the time or just grease from cookout. But anywho, so as soon as we got back to the hotel room, I'm like, this isn't going to be good because there's 4 of us in a small hotel room. So I'm whipping out the Tums, whipping out the Imodium. I'm like, you guys, we got to get ahead of this. I was like, if we don't get ahead of this, and like the Gas X, I was like, if we don't get ahead of this, that toilet, we're going to be all like crying for that toilet in the middle of the night. And sure enough, let me just say, and maybe I shouldn't talk about poop live, but who cares? I took an Imodium before bed and I had to poop in the morning when I go up. So it was going to be really bad.
Yeah.
I'm actually known for shit.
Yeah, if you can fight through the Imodium, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. So one of my nicknames is Mud Butt because I have like several.
That's awesome, Jess.
Several times, and I always wear thongs too. So, it's like it happens if I'm really sick, like throwing up, and you just can't control what's coming out the other end. I've also earned the nickname Waffle Stomp because I've learned I can't trust a fart in the shower.
Oh my God!
I know, isn't this terrible? Yeah.
This is
Waffle
horrid.
stomp?
Nick, pinch it off.
Never heard of a waffle stomp? So waffle stomp is like, like shower drains, like have got the like waffle on it. So, if you like, fortunately I didn't have to like waffle stomp anything, but maybe that's on my bucket list of things to do. Like when I'm, 40 and on my 40th birthday.
Do you get what a waffle stomp is? Do you get it now?
No.
So it's got the drain. So it's got you're in the shower. It's got a drain, right? You take a shit in the shower. You're not just going to leave it there. So you got to stomp it down the fucking drain. It's called the waffle stomp.
I did not know that. So Anthony Omelas wants some more poop talk. So keep it going. What else we got?
Oh God. I've gotten to the point where I've been on the bench and been like,
I've always wondered that. Yeah, like,
but it's pregame ritual. I had a time of when I took a shit on game day. Had to. I had to. No matter, even if I didn't have like my stomach or feel like I had to. At 3:23, I was on the toilet. I was sitting there and pushing out whatever I could because I wanted to make sure that if I was as out as much as I could before game day, game time.
I mean, a solid pre-game poop, a PGP, is necessary. And on Sunday morning, that's why I was like, y'all, we need, if the Imodium doesn't kick in, like either the night's going to be rough or like we're all not going to be playing in this championship game because we're going to be having the Hershey squirts as we go up and down the ice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, guys, try to, the worst is when you're on a bus because you can't shit on the bus, right? You know that. It's a cardinal rule in all of hockey. You cannot shit on the bus. So if you're like on a 22-hour bus ride, right, and you can't, they stop. Don't get me wrong, but think about it. If you just stopped, you didn't go, and then all of a sudden 2 hours later, your stomach starts to. You're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? Yeah, I've had guys. I mean, I've never had to do it myself personally.
They don't have a bathroom on the bus. They don't have a toilet.
Well, they do, but you can't shit on it. It's a total fine.
Illegal.
It's a total fine.
Listen, I'm gonna pay if it comes down between paying a little bit of money and shitting in my pants. I'm probably gonna pay the money.
Well, what'll happen is you can text the coach, like you text the coach, hey coach, I got to take a shit, and they'll stop. But that's only if if you have somewhere to go. If you're in the middle of nowhere, forget about it. You're shitting in the woods. You're shitting over the rail.
If you think that there hasn't been
shitting, no, you can't. Because what happens, Nikki, what happens is when you're on the bus, though, brother, and you've got 30 guys, it stinks anyways. Even though everyone's got their own bed, everyone's got their own DVD player and their own.
Oh no! I was saying, I don't care. I don't care if there's nothing around. If you pull over, I can shit on the side of a road. Yeah. I'm not
but it's still, right? You can't shit in the bus because it stinks up the whole.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah. Shit on the side of the freeway coming through the mountains above the LA Valley, whatever it's called. Seriously, we were in traffic and he's like, I gotta go. So we found like a pull-off spot, which I think other people were kind of doing the same thing. And straight up, he like made eye contact with people as they're driving by, and he's like kind of hiding behind the door, just shitting on the side of the highway. It's like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
And listen, for me, like I'm on this new medicine, and it's just like it's for diabetic medicine, but I think you guys have heard it for like weight loss, like that Ozempic stuff. I haven't lost a bunch of weight, but I've shit a lot more than normal, which is fucking insane. And it's like, well, got to shit. There's no holding it. It's just coming. So you gotta make it go. Which brings us to probably the number one rule of the dressing room is you don't shit in your own team's dressing room. And if you do, you're a piece of shit. Literally.
Renee.
You don't shit. Here's where you go. You go to the other team's dressing room. You can shit in there. Or listen, I don't
go to the lobby.
Or if a real power move is to go shit in the ref room, let them know.
Oh, that's
let them know. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Or the shit in the shower trash can.
Well, that too. That's disgusting.
Apparently.
Or in the shower, to give them something to waffle stomp.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Stomp it out.
I guess Anthony, you gross motherfucker. All right. Okay. Did we even get to bombing for Bedard?
No, we just talked about shitting.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we did.
This is the actual shit show. Got it.
That's the actual shit show. All right. NHL news. Bombing for Bedard. Not much has changed in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. The Jackets lead the way with my Hawks right behind, along with the Ducks. Also in play are the Coyotes, which is good news for Nikki Kamish for his prediction, as well as the Sharks and the Canucks. I don't know if there's any Canucks fans out there, but speaking of, I have it written here in my notes. They are really shitting the bed lately, so look out for them to move into Bedard territory. The big trade news, of course, the Blues sent Vladimir Tarasenko to the Rangers for a few players and a couple of picks. Huge. One of those being a conditional first rounder this year. He's got a goal in 2 games for New York. I mean, that seems like a pretty monstrous move and a really good fit. You guys, what do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, if you got him and Panarin, I mean, forget about it. I mean, that those 2 guys together, if they can figure it out and start clicking, that the Rangers are just going to start rolling. I mean, that kid has got so much talent.
Yeah, his shot is ridiculous.
Talent. Yeah, and he's got so much individual talent. And John's right. John Andrew, who just wrote An Expensive Rental. And that could happen, though.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? If he doesn't start getting happy and start really feeling like, I'm a Panarin, I'm a part of an organization, we're starting to do something here, he could go somewhere else. I mean, look, Chicago's an interesting case right now. I mean, they are. I mean, they're looking to trade some big guys. Patrick Kane might be out of there. He just released today that there's only 2 teams. I didn't forget which 2 teams, but there's 2 teams that he'll actually be traded, that he'll actually go to. There's some talks with him being traded. I mean, there's some big moves that could be made here, especially with the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, right? Mm-hmm. It's a big, big impact right now. I mean, this kid is he's
Maple Leafs and Rangers,
like
by the way. Maple Leafs and Rangers is the 2 teams that he said.
Well, the Rangers might be out of it now, huh? Or maybe not.
They can't afford them. I mean,
I don't know how they would make that work.
Salary cap, right?
But think about that. They can afford them. They can absolutely afford them. They have the money for it, but they can get rid of if they get Panarin, Kane, Tarasenko, and those guys can actually figure it out and play on the same line together, but or a power play. I mean,
there's no
Kane's at the end of his career. Yeah, Kane's at the end of his career. You know, he's still a top level talent.
He was awesome with Panarin in Chicago too. I mean, that awesome duo, they were ridiculous together.
Well, awesome. I will say, I mean, since it's buying from Bedard, we know that Bedard's going to Arizona. But when you talk about can the Rangers afford him, cool. Maybe they can afford him salary cap wise, but they just gave away the 1st round pick. Chicago is going to take futures back that don't include a 2023 1st round pick for their most marketable.
That's a very good point.
I mean, that just seems weird. I mean, and you know, the Maple Leafs need something to get out of.
He's going to end up in Vancouver.
Kane?
No. Connor Bedard. I'm sorry.
Oh, Connor Bedard. You know, I kind of the way that the Canucks have been playing lately, I'm kind of like starting to think that you might be right.
Listen, there's only one way to convince me that it's not rigged, and that that's already written, is to bring me, the commissioner of all of Beer League, to draw the numbers, and so I can prove that this is not rigged. This is on the up and up. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to lie to the people, because if they get me on and it is rigged, I'm just going to say this is rigged, Arizona Coyotes. But I can prove it. If they want it, you know, NHL is trying to reach new people. All us beer leaguers, we want to know that it's not rigged. You just bring me on.
Here's where the problem is, though, with your thought process with the Coyotes, Nikki. Connor Bedard is a great player, and to us hockey fans, he's friggin' phenomenal.
Yep.
Okay. But see, too many people want to go back to the old Wayne Gretzky aspect, right? And what I mean by that is him playing in Edmonton and then getting traded to LA and then making LA this huge market, right? Which is awesome that he did that. Look what's going on with Connor McDavid. He had to go to Edmonton, who's got a huge market, and they're still getting fans in and everything, but the team hasn't developed. My point is, this is what I'm trying to get at here. Not enough people in Phoenix or the Coyotes or Arizona, right, know who Connor Bedard is. They just don't. They just don't know who he is. So bringing him into Phoenix isn't going to save anything.
I don't think
It's not.
it's not trying to
There's
it's
not
not
going
trying
to be
to
enough
save anything.
excitement for
Like
him.
I don't think you understand. Uh, Most of the people that are in Phoenix during hockey season are not Phoenix fans.
Bingo.
They're transplants from Canada who are there to watch other
Yeah.
their teams come. And all I'm saying is my reasoning is that getting the best next franchise player leads enough excitement for Gary Bettman to say, okay, if we have this guy here, and then Austin Matthews is going to go back home, it's written in the stars. And that's where they build the excitement around that. And then they take that excitement to get this new arena. Because to be honest with you, I don't know how you let something fail so repeatedly and keep trying it and then not do something like this. Like, because why wouldn't he just move the Coyotes to Quebec City where it would pop off? Or the hell, they could put a second team right outside of Toronto and they would make more money than the Coyotes, right? So there's a reason why the Coyotes there. It's because Gary Bettman wants hockey to work there. And this is the move that I think.
Why
and
do you think that is,
and
though?
moving them to that side of
Sorry,
town.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why do you think? I mean, we've got enough in the West Coast. I mean, not enough, but we've got a good with Seattle, Las Vegas. I mean, the West Coast is really starting to develop. Do we really need that fuck up down there in Arizona? I mean, is it a necessity for West Coast hockey? I just don't think it is.
I'm telling you, it's the snowbirds market. It's the snowbirds market. That's
right.
what
I mean,
it
we
is.
just had the Super Bowl and the Wasted Management Open this weekend out in Scottsdale.
In the same weekend, yeah.
It's in the same weekend.
No,
it's a big. He's right. It's the snowbirds. The thing where they really fucked up is that they left the Coyotes way out in the sticks for what 15
45
years.
minutes away from all the money. That's where they put them.
Well,
without traffic.
The good thing about it is, guys, is that their youth, they have the Phoenix Junior Coyotes, and they're phenomenal. They have a great AAA program. I mean, as a junior coach at a high level, junior coach tier 2, we're constantly looking at their players, which is great. And I love the fact that they're able to do that because of that association with the Coyotes, right? That's awesome. And they've developed it. But how much longer is it going to last here? I mean, it feels like it's year after year we're having the same conversations. When is it time to just put a knife in it?
What I'm saying. Like they put too much into it. So the finale here.
They got one more shot at it.
Bedard and Matthews in the desert. That's why I think that it's written. So if they, bring me out, I'll pull the balls. I'll tell people if it's rigged or not.
Well, the thing that could happen though, guys, too, is that they go out there, they do a great job and they play well together, whatever, and they still don't turn it around financially. Now they have a good basis to take that team and move it to say like Quebec City. You get what I'm saying? They already have, like they did with when they did with the Nordiques to Colorado. Right, they already had Sakic, they already had Forsberg, they already had those guys.
Yeah, they were a Stanley Cup team before they left.
Yeah. Can you imagine living in Phoenix as that's where your pro sports are? It's a pretty nice place to live, to be honest with you. And then you're like, okay, here we go. I'm in Phoenix. I'm living the life. It's nice and warm, and all of a sudden you get shipped to Quebec City for winners. Oh, that would be the worst. As a pro athlete,
I know.
Yeah, I mean, they went from Winnipeg, and then Winnipeg moved to Phoenix. So they were like, "Oh, thank God, we're gonna be warm."
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, and listen,
except that they'd be able to play in front of people.
But whatever, they don't care.
Listen,
I don't think they care. Like, who sees the people? Like, even when I was playing college baseball, like I never saw the people in the stands. Like, you're too focused on other stuff.
Yeah, but there's an atmosphere. There's an atmosphere that you miss out on.
I mean, I'm sure there is an energy, but I think at the pro level. But if I was a pro level, I would be a bougie motherfucker. I'd be like, no, listen, I'm not going to Calgary. I'm not going anywhere in Canada. I'm going to New York. I'm going to the beaches. And that's why those teams have such an advantage, because that's where people want to live. No one wants to just live in Winnipeg. And no offense to Winnipeg people.
I don't know if I agree. I mean, there's some good teams. There have been good teams that have not been in desirable locations. I mean, we just talked about Tarasenko's.
There's some bad teams, and there's some bad teams in good locations.
Absolutely. I mean, we just talked about Tarasenko. St. Louis won the Cup not that long ago. Have you been to St. Louis?
Yeah,
I've been to St. Louis. I would live in St. Louis.
Really?
St. Louis compared to Winnipeg? Compared to Calgary,
I've never been to Winnipeg, but I don't want to live in St. Louis. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Calgary's got the Stampede. The Stampede
in the
is
summer.
absolutely amazing.
In the summer, I don't want to
No,
live.
you're right.
I would. That's why snowbirds
Yeah.
are so important, because no
Right.
one wants to be here in the winter. It sucks. And I'm not. And I love I love living in Calgary, but it just sucks. Like when you go through 2-week stretches of minus 40-degree weather, it's fucking blows. And so if I had the choice, and Johnny Gaudreau, same.
Yeah, but
I would choose to go to the state, and it's cold in Columbus sometimes, but I don't think it's minus
Not
40
Calgary
for 3 weeks
cold,
away.
yeah.
Like it's
Boston, but Boston, New York. I mean, it gets cold. I mean, it gets minus 20,
but it
10 with the wind chill
those
coming
are
off that
desirable
ocean.
places to live, though. Like it balances out. Like Calgary is cold, but it's not a Boston. Like there's not Boston things to do
No,
in
I know.
Calgary. Like you can't just get drunk and have pistol fights in Calgary like you can in Boston. I know what those fucks do.
I'm
in
really
Boston.
looking forward to
I know.
this St. Patty's Day weekend. Do we need to
Oh,
ship our guns with us?
Yeah, if you're shipping up to Boston, you got to protect yourself. Shit gets wild.
Perfect.
And,
All right, hey
and guess
babe,
what?
let's get our guns ready.
But don't worry, Jess. If you go to Boston, I got a bunch of guys that'll take care of you.
Hey, and don't even worry, because they're
We're
so nice.
booking my flight when we're done with this.
Hey, they're so nice about they'll pistol whip you and then help you up. Say
Perfect.
sorry
Yeah.
about that, and then do it again. So it's
That is
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's I don't know. I still think it's rigged. I think,
Yeah.
but then on the flip side, everyone's saying like the NFL is rigged and there's a storybook and blah 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 blah, and I don't agree with that in the least, right? So I guess I'm just
If
picking
there
and
was,
choosing.
Buffalo would have won.
Yeah,
After
maybe.
the DeMar Hamlin thing, Buffalo
Yeah.
would have won the Super
Yeah.
Bowl if it was
Yeah,
rigged.
maybe.
Yeah.
That would have been too perfect.
But what if the Hamlin was written in the playbook of things to happen for the season?
Right. Like,
And
did
then
we
that
ever
way they
see
threw you off the scent
actual
is that
EKG?
yeah. So what they did is they threw you off the scent because they said if this was really written, then this Hamlin thing would mean they would win. See, that's what everyone will say, but then they took it in a different direction. See, they're playing games at different levels, Ficus Kev.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you I appreciate you clarifying that and letting me know what's
no, I'm
going
just saying,
on in
like,
the world.
what if? That's all I'm saying is what. I'm not saying that is. I'm just saying
Okay.
what if? I don't believe in it, but what if?
You believe in the NHL's rig, but not the NFL.
It's like saying, what if the Earth is flat?
What if?
I already accused him of being a
Definitely.
flat earther. He said it. I think you said it was. I forget what you said it was.
Don't
Octagonal.
even start there. Don't even start there.
Octagonal. Octagonal. Okay. It's
Well, the
octagonal.
NHL, right, is like the lowest income sport
Yeah.
of the four majors, right? So
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
definitely a strategic. They definitely run it like a business, and they definitely have. I think there's definitely some strategy behind
Mhm.
what goes on.
It's not a sports league. It's an entertainment. It's an entertainment league, I believe, as well.
Well, they
You
all
gotta
are. They
do
all
what
are.
you gotta do.
So never let the
I just
truth
don't,
get in the way
I
of a
don't know.
good
I don't
story,
see
Kev.
that. I don't see them. I don't see the I understand from a Calgary fan's perspective how Edmonton getting, was it 4 out of 5 years they got
4 out of
first
6.
first
Thank you
overall
very
pick or
much.
something like
Bullshit.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I get why you're
And
a little bit
they
skeptical.
Had some busts. Sorry,
did?
Not that they had some
did.
busts.
Can you imagine
I mean,
having that many? I mean, Nugent Hopkins is still in the league, but like Taylor Hall,
They
I
got
guess
some
he also
good
was-
players. They're just not number
No,
one
Taylor
overall
Hall
players.
is great. He's been great for us in Boston. Taylor
Yeah.
Hall. We
Yeah.
absolutely
He
love
just
him.
wasn't great there
But-
because they run players. Is the thing.
Yeah.
But then they
Nugent
had
Hopkins,
Yakupov.
Yakupov.
Yeah.
He's not even in the league.
Yeah, I was
You know
gonna
what?
say, is he even playing?
No.
No.
Sometimes
He
when I
plays
just
in the K, I think.
when I feel shitty about Calgary and being a Flames fan because we're horrible, I go and look at like the Yakupov draft and I look at all the players that Edmonton could have had besides Yakupov, and it makes me feel better about being a Flames fan because they're fucking idiots.
Yeah, very good.
Good, Nick. Good. We just want you to be happy.
Well, I think I want you to be. I want everyone to be happy, really. And however you can get your happiness, then get it. I'm just explaining how sometimes when I feel bad about my fandom, I like to shit on other fans' fandom because it makes me feel good. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Good.
But no hard feelings. So leave it on the ice or whatever they say. All right, next topic. Let's go.
The only other thing that I had from the NHL was actor and heartthrob Ryan Reynolds is part of a group planning to put a bid in to buy the Ottawa Senators.
Did you say Ryan?
Ryan.
Right.
Oh, I thought you said Ryan.
No, Ryan Reynolds?
What are you?
Okay.
Ryan?
I thought you said her. I thought you were trying to pull one of them like Family Guy cool whip.
That's what I mean.
No.
Are you Stewie?
Yeah, okay. I thought you were trying to pull something. I thought you were trying to pull something in on me.
Nope.
That's all.
Nope, just Ryan Reynolds. Yep, he's
Okay,
part of
well-
it. They're trying to buy
Why?
the Ottawa
Why?
Senators.
But
Yeah,
Are
I love me
there-
some
I mean,
Ryan
I-
Reynolds.
are the Ottawa Senators
Yeah.
doing bad financially, or are they looking?
No, he's just a Canadian dude that wants to
Yeah, I
own
know.
a hockey league, right? So, I mean,
Yeah, he already bought a soccer team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Wayne Gretzky bought the Coyotes, but that didn't really work out so well.
Wait, did he actually buy him? Did he? Was he an owner?
He
was
stepped
part
in.
owner.
Yeah,
He was
it was
like
part owner.
power
It's like
owner,
with
power
Mario
manager.
Lemieux with Pittsburgh.
Interesting. Okay, well, I mean,
That's when
good.
it all
Good.
went downhill, ironically.
I mean, listen, good for Ryan Reynolds, and I hope he enjoys.
Ryan.
I hope he enjoys the Ottawa Senators.
They got a Nikki Boston. You'd know better than me. They got a decent young program, don't they? In Ottawa, feels like they've had a lot of high draft picks.
Yeah.
Brady.
Ottawa's been interesting. They've
Brady,
definitely been
Bratherson.
interesting.
They got some good players.
Yeah. They definitely do. They're interesting. They go like this, but not like too much like that up and down. They're kind of in the middle, wavy, meaning year after year they're okay, but they're never spectacular and they're never terrible. They're constantly in the middle. Now, the good thing is, obviously, I mean, Ottawa. Have you guys ever? Ottawa's a beautiful city. It's absolutely stunning. They, not just besides its capital, they have a river there that's that you can skate on. It's the longest river, I think, in Canada, and it freezes over. And I've been actually able to skate on it. It's awesome. It's a great place. It's a beautiful city. So, and they love their hockey there. So they're like one of those organizations that just does well financially. I mean, I don't know why Ryan Reynolds. I mean, from what I understood, they do well financially. They have fans. They always have a decent program. But I think at some point in time, they've got to kind of up their. They've got to start going here. They've had enough time to, build a program. And I think they need, for a Canadian, especially as a Canadian franchise and a Canadian organization, they need to start getting some big time players in there.
Weren't they in the finals like 3 or 4 years ago? Was it Ottawa?
They might have been. They might have been.
So.
That's what I mean. They're up and down, but they're never terrible. They're never great. They might make it. They'll make it to the playoffs. They might have made it that one year. They might lose in the first round, second round. They're always a decent organization, but they don't do anything spectacular. And that's what they need to change especially for an organization like that. They're not in the headlines enough. They don't have a guy like a Bufflin that had in Winnipeg for a little bit. You know what I mean? They don't have that one spectacular player that is time and time again in the headlines. And I think they need that.
Oh yeah. They were in the conference finals in, what year was that? In 2017.
Wow. I didn't even know it was that recent. Interesting.
Yeah. And they actually, cause they beat the Bruins in the first round. They beat the Rangers in the second round, and then lost game 7, 3-2 in a double overtime to Pittsburgh to not go to the championships. Okay, cool. I mean, listen, I'm not really like, I like the NHL, but that's not, all the show's about. So I like the NHL segment. I do think it's rigged, but I hope Ryan Reynolds is great in Ottawa or whatever we're going to call it. And Ottawa is a beautiful city. He is correct. Maybe we should do a draft in Ottawa. That sounds like a cool place to do a draft. It's either Ottawa or Montreal.
Montreal, you got to do Montreal.
Yeah.
Montreal is the greatest. Montreal is the greatest place on earth.
I do love Montreal. I do love Montreal.
How can you not love Montreal? There's nothing.
I mean, other than I can't speak French. Can you speak French, Nick?
It does. No.
Okay.
I can't. It doesn't matter though. When you go to
Montreal,
I get it, yeah. at a Montreal strip joint, it doesn't matter what language you speak. It's just the greatest place on earth.
You know who I bet's been to a Montreal strip club? Yabo.
Oh,
guaranteed.
I've never been to. Oh, guaranteed. He's played in the LNAH, so guaranteed. There's not too many guys.
That was hopped up in his hospital bed on drugs right now, being like,
call him. Yeah, call him right now.
Let's get him on the line.
Get him on the horn right now. Hey, speaking of which, I also want to say thank you to your cousin Sarah last week for joining us.
She was cool, right? It was great.
That was awesome.
She did a great job.
I fangirled all the way when she came on because I'm here in Raleigh, North Carolina, so I know who she is. I was like, oh my gosh.
I've been chatting her up on Twitter. Like we go back and forth, like I comment on her stuff, and I think she's gonna come out and she's gonna get wild with us in Boston. It sounds like. So
yeah, she's a trip, all right. And just make sure you take care of her, because if not, she's my little baby there.
Listen, I'm not trying to get.
I'm only kidding.
I thought you were going to take care of us.
Family. We're supposed to be a family here, so make sure you take care of her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're trying to roll deep around Boston. Yeah,
I'm only kidding. No, she's a sweetheart, and it's always been tough because she's kind of been in the shadow a little bit, with 2 older brothers. She's the youngest of all our cousins, which is kind of crazy. Not the youngest, but she is the youngest. Sorry, she is the youngest. So she's always kind of tried to do her own thing and get out of that shadow. And me and her have always been pretty tight, and I love her to death, where sometimes she never gotten involved in my family's bullshit, which is a lot of bullshit sometimes. Fighting at weddings, that type of stuff. And she's always kept to herself. And I'm really proud of her and really happy for her. And it's really cool because, being a hockey guy, a hockey player, there's no one else in my family that plays. I mean, my father can't even skate. So finally having someone in my family that is involved in the game that I can talk to and we're on the same level kind of thing, it's great to have. So I'm really proud of her. I'm happy for her. And, she's just going to keep going and going.
Yeah, she's awesome. So, all right, what's the last segment to get to tonight before we get out of here?
Me reading you guys some Valentines.
Oh, we're gonna do Valentine. Oh, it is Valentine's Day.
What about the line thing? Are we doing the line fight?
Oh yes.
Yeah, we'll finish up with that guy.
All right. I mean, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I feel like I really gotta share some love, and so
you gotta share your screen. You gotta share your screen.
I'm gonna share my screen, and I know that not everybody gets to watch the actual video of this, so I will read it out loud for those of you that are just listening and not watching our ugly faces. Here's my first Valentine. Are you a player on the opposing team? Because I'd love to check you from behind.
Oh yeah.
Who's that player, Jess? I can't even see who that is.
I can't. It's so grainy.
I don't know who that is either. Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
That's me, actually.
There you go.
Yeah. This is also me.
We can tell who this one is. This is Crosby, my Valentine.
Ooh, got him.
Wow.
Yep, right there.
Dun.
You're too hot to handle.
Oh God.
I love that he's like squatting right there, or not squatting, doing the
frog stretch.
Right.
It'd be better if he was squatting.
Yeah. I can go all night long.
Look at that face of him.
Oh, wait, did you make these or
I did not make
them?
these?
Okay.
No, this is what I was doing today instead of working. I hope my boss is not.
He looks like he's not allowed near a Chuck E. Cheese in that picture.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I agree. He's got quite a flat top too.
He does.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's get to the point on Valentine's Day. I want some Headman.
That's a solid one.
That's the best one so far.
Headman,
Definitely.
get it?
Oh boy, we're a family show.
I love this picture. For those of you who can't see it, this Valentine says, "My heart burns for you," and it's like the crazy Burns face. Yeah,
the crazy Brett Burns face. He looks nuts.
Big eyes,
huge beard.
Huge beard. I'm falling for you.
You had to put Marshawn in there, didn't you?
Eating shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Worst skater in the NHL. I'm just saying that so he hears it and then chirps me.
There you go.
He does seem to fall a lot when people are around him.
Yeah, no, but listen, the dude just twists off, and he's not afraid to chirp people on Twitter. So I think I can get us into a little a Twitter beef with Marshawn.
Stu Stanley Cup rings.
No, listen, hey, I'm not arguing. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying it so that way he'll go at me on Twitter. Like I don't give two shit. He's a great player. I'm not, but for the show.
I probably skate better than him, which says a lot because I wheel like my bag. My slap shot isn't the only thing that's hard, Valentine. Hey. I really enjoyed this one. This really gets me going.
How many more left? One more?
A couple more. I want to go Doan on you.
Hot.
A lot of fellatio jokes we're going here.
Yeah. You're milking me crazy.
Okay.
That's
back
cute.
to clean fun.
And then the very last one is
there we go.
Yeah,
there it is.
I'd give you a lick.
Hey, that's solid.
I don't know if you saw this, but I actually own this video. And but do you remember when that happened? And then there was the fans in Calgary that were like Barstool showed, everyone showed it, and they had the big cutout head of Brad Marchand at the Flames game, and they cut out his mouth, and they had their arm, they put a big pink sock, and they were walking around licking everybody. Did anyone ever see that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was insane. Yeah, good times. All right.
Good
well,
job,
hey, those are great. Yeah, good Valentines. I like them.
Happy Valentine's Day to all y'all weirdos. Oh, Zucker Up Buttercup. Thanks, John. That is a cute one.
Yeah, thanks, John. All right, hit us with the Fight Liney cut, and we'll get out of here for this week.
Fight Liney cut. All right. So this is a little bit of a different one. I'm bringing back some old school names. So first one's Dave Schultz. Now, Dave Schultz played for the Philadelphia Flyers for a bunch of years. He's the all-time leader of penalty minutes in the NHL. One year, he holds the record for in one season. He had 472 penalty minutes in 1 year. He's got a total of 2,294 pentalty minutes.
Was he part of the Bullies was he part of the Bullies?
Yeah, the Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah.
Yep. He so on top of that, he's also got, I think, 4 Stanley Cup rings. He was there protecting those guys, and again, one of the toughest guys ever to play in the NHL. 2,294 penalty minutes. Next up is Lanny McDonald. Now, Lanny McDonald is a Calgary Flames legend. One of the greatest players ever to play. He has and is also known for his mustache. Lanny McDonald also played in Toronto as well too. 1 year when he was in Calgary, he had 98 points, 66 goals, 32 assists. He was an all-star, I think 5 times. Went to the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in a row. So he was their captain as well too. He captained in Calgary, and I believe he was part of the Colorado Rockies as well too for their 2-year stint. Yeah. He also played in the World Cup in Canada. Last one is Darren McCarty. Now, Darren McCarty is a Detroit Red Wing. A Detroit Red Wing tough guy. Was there to protect Stevie Yzerman year after year. Played on third, fourth line, but was constantly in there. He was a agitator, definitely one of the toughest guys to play the game, but also could put the muck in the net. He's one of those guys that just love playing hockey. And he was a pleasure to watch during the late 90s, early 2000s. And he was part of that team of Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche, their battle year after year, part of that big fight as well, too. So those are the 3 guys right there. Again, Dave Schultz, Lanny McDonald, Darren McCarty, who could put the puck in the net and fight.
Okay. Let's see. I mean, I have to Lanny just because he's a Flame, and he was a fucking stud. I mean, he's a legend. He's still here. He still has that big old duster. It's absolutely insane. You can still buy a car every December from this Ford dealership, and you get to go up and meet Lanny McDonald, and people are excited about it.
Seriously?
Yeah. He also owns
poor guy.
He also owns part of a craft brewery in Montana, and they do a big tournament down there. So he's a great guy. Obviously, I know Darren McCarty, crazy motherfucker, and didn't he own a pawn shop too at some point in time? I think so.
I think he's part of that Detroit, that famous Detroit pawn shop, or something like that.
It was.
You know that hardcore pawn thing.
Yeah.
So TV show.
The problem is like I don't want to cut him, but I really don't want to fight him either. Tis the issue here, and so, fuck. I mean, I guess I'll just cut Schultz just because I wasn't into hockey and the Broad Street Bully, all that stuff. So I'll cut Schultz, and then I'll fight McCarty, but I'll try to be friendly with him in the fight. So that way after I could just say, it's just so I couldn't cut you, bud. Like, I mean, I don't want you to hurt me because you're a wild man. I know he's a wild boy for sure. But I want to play with Lanny. I think I want to. And so, yeah, I'm going to fight McCarty. I'm going to Lanny, and I'm going to cut Dave Schultz.
Well, I'll go next just because mine are exactly the same, but for different reasons. I'm gonna Lanny only because it sounds like I didn't know who that guy was, but from what Nikki Boston said, he could put the puck in the net, so I want him on my line.
He was a player.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut the big dude, the what's his name again? Oh, Schultz. I'm gonna cut Schultz.
Can't believe you guys are cutting Schultz. You have to understand this. Dave Schultz, the Broad Street Bullies and the Philadelphia Flyers would not have won all those cups without Dave Schultz.
I hear you, but guy. I don't. I can't fight the guy. He sounds terrifying. But I have to fight McCarty because I'm a Blackhawks fan, and back when they were playing the Red Wings all the time, like I had to hate McCarty. I had to, and it was just that's part of being a fan.
You know what,
Being a
was
fan,
Lanny
yeah.
even a fighter? I don't think Lanny was a fighter. I mean, he's a big guy, but I don't think he was like because he was more of a skilled player. Like he wasn't out there just chucking knucks all around.
Now, let me just say this right here, real quick, okay? Even though he's Dave Schultz still had 200 points in his career, okay? In Philadelphia, he had 3 years of over 20 goals and over 30 points. As a fighter, that's a pretty big deal.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I only have 3 choices here,
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schultz is just Schultz is an animal. That's why.
Nick, let me guess
I would
yours.
fight Schultz. That's my choice.
Oh,
He's gonna take me down like instantly, but that's like half the fun of it, right? He's a big guy. He's got a reputation for him. Yes, I would definitely want to be involved in that. I want to be like, yep, he beat the shit out of me. I think that
Okay.
would be fun.
Okay.
Now I
and who
would
would you-
cut McDonald, just because Nick really likes him. So I'm just gonna be it.
sounds like you don't enjoy mustaches, is what you're trying to tell me.
I mean,
Mustache ride.
mustache ride. So if you cut
Yep.
him, there's going to be sadness, and you can hug it out, and one thing might lead to another. Mustache
Okay.
ride,
Okay.
He's going.
Okay. Fair enough.
and then I
He's
would
really
line
thought this through.
McCarty. Yeah, I'd line McCarty because I'm little on the ice. Somebody takes me down, I would love to have somebody that'll.
I want to try to guess. I want to try to guess Nikki Boston's. Okay, Nikki Boston. He's for sure going to Liney Schultz, and I think he's going to cut Lanny. Not what? Or you want to fight Schultz?
No, I'd fight Schultz, Lanny Darren, cut Lanny.
Oh,
Here's
okay.
why. Here's why. I love Lanny, and he'd be a great guy to play with. But you got Darren McCarty, who's the quintessential teammate. He's going to fight. He's going to hit. He's going to skate. He's going to put the puck in the net. He's going to kill penalties. Having Darren McCarty as a liney and as a brother would be a fantastic thing. And he's going to make sure he's going to give me ice. He's going to give me a lot of room out there. Dave Schultz, just like Jess, it'd be one punch and I'd be down, so it'd be over. Right? So I wouldn't have to deal with it that much. And Lanny, God bless him, I love him, but he's going to put the puck in the net and he's going to take all the credit for himself. I want someone that's going to pass the puck a little bit here, bud.
Okay. I think didn't Lanny have just as many assists as he had goals?
Yeah, he had a ton of assists as well too, but it's all about the Lanny show. I want something about the Camarada show as well too.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
He actually had 1,000 games, 500 goals,
Yeah.
506 assists.
Wow, that's
Yep.
it's pretty balanced.
Yeah,
All right. Well, hey, that's why we do it. I mean, we all have our own opinions. That's why we do Fight Lanny Cut. I'm just going to end this on one last question because I brought it up earlier. If you were an NHLer, where would you play? Like, what would be your number one destination to play and why? And we'll do it really quick. We'll do like rapid fire. Nikki Boston.
Oh God. I'm not going to say Boston because that's just it is. If there's one place I guess I could play, I would say LA.
What a traitor to the hometown. Oh boy.
I would say Boston, but that's just okay. Boston. I mean, that's just. I'm trying to be different.
I'm giving you Jess.
I'm gonna have to go with the Rangers.
New York,
I feel like
LA.
Yeah, in New York, yeah.
Yep.
Just
I'd rather have my eyes plucked
classic.
out. than play for the Rangers.
I know. I was actually between them and Boston. Even like
I
Nashville.
would. I'd rather have my eyes taken out of my head than play for the New York Rangers.
You're just always gonna have fans. Your fans are just always gonna be there for you.
And
they may not throw things at you like a Boston fan, I feel like would eventually.
Yeah, and then they'll stab you in the back while you're leaving the stadium.
Exactly.
Can I bring back Hartford Whalers? I want to play for the Hartford Whalers.
Yeah, but they're not around.
If we can bring teams back, then I'm going Hartford myself.
Yeah. I know. Believe it or not, Nikki Kamish, I might choose something like Toronto. I think it would be fun to play for such a rabid fan base, and obviously there's pressure there that you might not get in somewhere like Arizona, like we talked about. But I don't know. I kind of think it'd be a lot of fun to play in Toronto.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the question really is like when you think about where you want to play and where you want to live, right? And Toronto's a great city. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't want to live in LA because the traffic there is atrocious.
It is.
I would live in New York because you could just, I mean, you're at MSG, right? You could just buy yourself hockey players don't really make that much. You can't buy yourself like this place in Manhattan, but you can get around there easy enough. But I think like Tampa Bay would be a really cool place to live. I mean, Tampa Bay is a nice place.
Nashville. Jay Coleman said Nashville. Nashville would be awesome to play in as well too. Sorry, Nashville.
Yeah.
If I would change my answer, I would change it to Nashville.
Nashville's a cool city too. So, okay, cool.
City.
All right. Well, I think that about does it for this week. Anybody have anything to add before we get out of here? Nope. All right. Well, other than that, guys, go.
Oh yeah, just one, Nikki. Just one thing, really quick. Just want to say congratulations to the Boston Junior Bruins little guys team. They're in the Quebec City Pee Wee tournament, which is one of the biggest Pee Wee tournaments in the world. They just had a big thing playing the Ukraine. They did beat the Ukraine, but they did a big thing of holding hands in hand. It was really cool to see. Hope those boys are having a lot of fun up there. And I played in it when I was a kid. It's an unbelievable tournament, and they're having a lot of fun up there. And I hope they're doing well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations to the boys. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys come out and play some decks with us, play some BLPA Bash. Got a lot of tournaments coming up. And follow us, like us, send us some engagement, tweet us. If Brad Marchand is listening, you suck at hockey, Twitter me about it. And other than that, guys, be good or be good.